Hey guys, welcome to L&D Home. In today's video, we are going to be making some fun, festive Christmas ornaments. And we are going to be using cubes from Dollar Tree and tumbling tower blocks. Who can believe it is almost time for the holidays? I can't, but here we are, so let's jump in. These are not tumbling tower blocks. I went to 5 of my local Dollar Trees and could not find them, so I ordered some on Amazon. I actually really like them. They will be linked down below, so I will be using these instead of the tumbling tower blocks today. For our first DIY Christmas ornament, we're actually going to be using 6 of the fake Jenga blocks that I got from Amazon, but I'm going to start with 3. And for some reason, I didn't have any red paint. I don't know why, so I decided to use a red Sharpie instead, and it actually worked really well on these blocks. I am going to be painting 2 more blocks white and 1 more block black, and then the last block of my 6 blocks I'm going to be painting a skin tone color. I chose a tan just because it was closer to my skin tone, but any skin tone color will do. One thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I painted all of the sides except for the bottom and the sides I knew I was going to be gluing together because I wanted to get good adhesion when I went to glue my pieces together. While we are getting our blocks all painted, let me know in the comments down below, does your local Dollar Tree carry the tumbling tower blocks? I had a heck of a time finding them, and I finally just gave up. I was going to order them and have them shipped to the store, but it was going to take weeks, and I just didn't have time for that. But I did find this little pack of stars in the Christmas section at Dollar Tree, so I grabbed some, and then I painted one of those white. And then I had a button in my stash that I painted with that same skin tone color. I do wish I would have used something else, but you'll see why when we do the final reveal. My little Santa, which is what we're making here, is really cute, but he kind of looks like a pig, so just wait for it. I use this super glue that I got from Dollar Tree, and I actually like this much better than hot glue because it doesn't like bubble up, it doesn't get too thick, and it doesn't leave those weird spaces that you sometimes get when you glue things together with hot glue. I had this ribbon from Dollar Tree for a while, and I'm just going to cut it to the size of my Jenga pieces. I'm using one of the extras as a template so that I don't have any hangover, and I'm just going to be hot gluing that to one of my black parts of my ornament just to cover it up. So we are going to be making a Santa ornament and a snowman ornament. And this is not an original idea. I was actually searching on Pinterest just to get some inspiration for the holiday season coming up. And I saw these super cute ornaments and a lot of other ones that you're going to see in this video. So all of these ornaments are actually inspired by posts I saw on Pinterest. And I may have just changed a few things here and there. Not original ideas, but super cute just the same. After we finish up this ribbon on our snowman, we are also going to be adding a ribbon to our little Santa ornament. I also got this ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I cut a piece long enough just to wrap around, and I'm placing it between the red block and the tan block, so it's kind of like a little embellishment on his hat because the red block is obviously his little Santa hat. I did the same thing and pushed those 2 ends to the back. And then I'm adding my little button. I don't realize yet he looks like a pig, so just wait for the reveal. And then I also added on my star that I had painted white just for some extra embellishment there on his hat so he looked super cute. Then I just took some black acrylic paint and used the end of my paintbrush to make little eyes. One thing I did find is if you turn your paintbrush slightly, the eyes will be a little bit bigger, and I wish I would have done that because his eyes are very, very tiny for such a large Santa ornament. But I did the same thing with my snowman and made really teeny tiny eyes. I would suggest making them just a little bit bigger than this, but this is what I ended up with. I didn't realize this trick until later. I then took some scrap cardboard from the pack of stars. I drew a little carrot shape and then painted it with some orange paint, and once it was dry, I was ready to glue his little carrot nose on. For the hanger that I'm going to attach to the back, I just went easy peasy. I cut up some pieces of twine, and I did more than one because there's 3 little tumbling tower blocks here. It's a little bit heavy, so I wanted to make sure that my hanger was going to be able to hold the weight of my ornament. And here we have the final result. Now, the snowman turned out way super cute. I absolutely love him. I think he is adorable, and it wasn't too expensive or too hard to create. However, my Santa, while he is cute, he does look like a little pig Santa. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. For our next DIY Christmas ornament, I wanted to break out some craft cubes from the Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to be using the backing to a gift box. I'm just going to be making a pattern in the shape of kind of a frame. And I wanted to use the cubes because I went to 5 of my local Dollar Trees to try to find those tumbling tower blocks and couldn't. So in case you can't find them either, I wanted you to have some options. I laid my frame on top of this piece of box and then just marked so that I could cut out the backing. It's going to be kind of the picture of my little frame ornament that I am making. And since I am making 2, I did cut out 2 of these pieces. They were a little bit big, so I would suggest cutting on the inside of the line just a little bit so you don't have any overhang in your final project. I love being able to use scraps of things or things I already have laying around for these projects because it makes them super cheap and I can use up some items that I have. I did start by thinking I was going to paint each block separately for some reason, and then I got smart and decided, Lene, glue them together first so you can paint the whole frame at one time. How silly of me. So I'm using that same super glue from Dollar Tree. I really love this easy squeeze like tube. I need to get some more of this. And I just glued my frame together, being careful to push everything together really well and not move it for at least a minute. Although the glue says it dries in 15 seconds, I wanted to make sure I had a really good hold. So I did my 2 longer pieces and then my 2 shorter pieces and then just attached them together. And I am going to be making 2 frames. Now my 2 frames turned out a little bit different. I'm not sure how, but apparently I went wonky somewhere. But either way, they do look like a set and they end up turning out super cute in the end. Now it was time for me to get to painting. So my first one, I am going to be painting in a deep brown color. I believe this is burnt umber from Folk Art, if I'm not mistaken. I just painted all of the sides, made sure I got the inside really well also, and then just painted the top. I didn't paint the back because it's going to be covered by our scrap piece of gift box. I end up painting the other one a color that I actually didn't mean to paint it. I thought I was painting it that wall color that I use in a lot of my DIYs, but once I opened it, I was like, oh, this is way lighter. It's another paint sample I had, but I went ahead and went with it just because, well, I had it out, and I do end up liking the way that it turns out in the end. This is when I realized that my piece of cardboard underneath was a little bit too big, so I wanted to cut it down. I also marked just a tiny dot on the inside so that when I write on this, I don't write too big, and then when I glue my frame on, all of my words are covered up. So I just picked some Christmas-like words. On this one, I am going to write Noel and do a little fancy design on the tops of each of the letters, just like that, just a little dot so it fancies it up. And then I'm going to be gluing my piece of cardboard down to my frame. And I did want to mark my frame so that I could put it back exactly right because I had positioned it where the Noel was as centered as I possibly could get it. I just applied a generous amount of that super glue, laid my piece down, and then set a book on top of it so it could dry nice and secure. And then I did the same thing with the other one, only this time I wrote snow and decided to do my O as a cute little snowflake. And then I just glued that in, but I didn't think you wanted to watch that. So here I am making 2 little twine bows just to add some embellishment to each of my little ornaments. I just felt like they needed a little something, and I love the look of twine because it is rustic and it is natural. So that's why I decided to go with twine. I also decided to go with twine hangers on the back, and since the cubes are lighter, I didn't feel like I needed to double or triple up my twine. I just used 1 little piece of string on the back of each and then used some hot glue to attach my little bows. I did 1 at the top and then 1 at the bottom. And you can see here that my frames are different sizes. Like I said, I don't know how that happened, but it did. But I still think they turned out super cute. And here we have it, the final reveal of our little Noel and snowflake ornaments. You can do so many things with these cubes from Dollar Tree, and I love the way these little ornaments turned out. For our next DIY Christmas ornament, we are back to those fake Jenga blocks again, and I'm going to be painting 2 of them white, making sure that I get all of the sides this time. I'm just not painting the back. I'm also going to be painting 2 of them brown, doing the same thing, getting all of the sides and the top, just not painting the back side of the Jenga block piece. I'm going to be using that same trick as before where I take the end of my paintbrush and I make little eyes and buttons. And this is where I figured out tilt your paintbrush because it makes bigger circles because I wanted my buttons to be a little bit bigger. So you may have guessed my little white guys right here are going to be cute little snowmen. I think these are just adorable with all of the little coal buttons and his coal eyes and mouth, just using the end of my paintbrush. I did take a regular paintbrush with a little bit of orange paint, and I decided to draw on my carrots. I'm not good at painting at all, like painting details, but they turned out okay. It wasn't too difficult. A different day, I am moving on to the other two ornaments that I'm making, and these are going to be little gingerbread men. And I wanted to make a little squiggle at the top and the bottom. And again, I'm not good at painting. Some of my squiggles did not turn out very well. For some reason, I just can't move a paintbrush in the way that it needs to go. I don't know what my issue is, but nonetheless, I made a squiggle at the top and the bottom for his little icing details. I gave him 2 little black eyes, and I'm going to be putting some white dots in those eyes so they stand out a little bit more because my brown paint is so dark. And I wanted them to pop. I didn't have any red, like I said, so I improvised and I just used this same tan to make his little icing buttons. But if you have red or a different color, you can always customize any of these ornaments to fit your needs. And yes, this is a pen. Because I am really bad with the paintbrush, I decided to take a pen, dip it in the paint, and draw his little smile on because for some reason, it was just much easier for me. I'm now going to make his little blushy cheeks, and I just mixed some white and some orange together. I really wish I would have had red, and I need to pick some up desperately, but he's got little peach cheeks, and that's okay with me. I then wanted to make like a little scarf on him, so I took some baker's twine that I did get from Dollar Tree last season, but I think I saw it there a few days ago when I went, and I'm just hot gluing each side down to make him look like he's wearing a cute little licorice scarf. For my snowman, I decided to go with something a little bit different. I tried different ways to do this, and I think it was just the ribbon that I had, but I ended up tying a knot and then folding one side over, hot gluing that side down, and then taking that other side, folding it over the other way, and then hot gluing that down. This looked the most like a scarf, like as I could get. I tried tying a bow. It just was not working. So I felt this was the easiest way to give our little snowmen cute little scarves. It looked a little thrown together, so I did take my scissors and just dovetailed the ends of our little snowman scarf so he looked a little bit more polished. Then I'm going to be doing the same thing with my hanger. I'm using jute twine yet again, only this time I am doing one little loop and I'm kind of closing it together on the end. Now, one of these I didn't make the loop big enough and I had some trouble fitting it around my tree branch. So just make sure you leave enough room for your tree branch to go through your little ornament unless you're putting these on a mini tree. And here we have our final result. They turned out super cute. I think that the snowman might be my absolute favorite, but I have to say that the little gingerbread man is definitely a winner as well. For our next DIY ornament, I'm actually cheating just a little bit, but I'm going to give you an alternative. So I have these like Scrabble-like pieces that my mom had gave me a long time ago that she just found somewhere. Now, if you don't have these, you could put 6 of the cubes together or 9 of the cubes together, or you could do some of your Jenga block pieces as well. But I had these and I've been wanting to use them for a while. I decided to keep 2 to the side and paint 2 brown, so I had kind of a two-tone look. I also got this pack of cute little snowflakes at Dollar Tree when I picked up those stars, and I decided to paint this entire snowflake white, including all of the little nooks and crannies, because I want it to pop off of my more dark colored pieces. And yes, my heat gun. I don't always show that I use this, but I use this a lot because I have absolutely no patience. I then took a white Sharpie paint pen, and I struggled with this because the paint pen was soaking in to the back of these little scattergory-like pieces so much. I only had to do about 2 coats on the pieces that I had painted. But let me tell you, I had to do about 7 or 8 coats on the other two pieces, the N and the W. It was a struggle bus, and I used my heat gun in between to dry each layer, and finally it started to build up on itself. I then took my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to be gluing all of these pieces together. I had actually ran out of the super glue, or I would have preferred to use that. So I'm definitely going to stock up on that super glue. It was so much less messy, shockingly, and way easier. And then I'm going to glue my little snowflake right to the center because that little snowflake is going to be our O. Now I'm taking that same baker's twine and I'm just going to be doubling it up and just gluing it to the back so we have a cute little hanger. And I liked the red on the baker's twine because I felt like it brought some color in because this is a very neutral Christmas ornament so far. Now, this part is completely optional, but some people like the back of their projects finished. So if you want that, I just took a scrap piece from that gift box that we had used earlier, cut it down to size, and then I just hot glued it to the back because we have all those random letters on the back. I wouldn't really worry about this necessarily, but if you like a finished piece, you can easily use a scrap piece of cardboard or gift box or cardstock that you have, and you can definitely finish your piece off if it's going to bother you seeing the back of it. And here we have the final reveal of our cute little snow ornament. I think this turned out so adorable, and I would be curious to see what it looked like with cubes or Jenga blocks as well. I styled all of today's DIY Christmas ornaments on a faux tree that I actually have up all year long, and I think I've convinced myself I need to decorate this faux tree for Christmas. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it useful and entertaining. Make sure you check out the video and the playlist on the screen, and as always, smash that subscribe button so you can become part of our YouTube family. Make sure that you check the description box for any of our social media or to buy us a coffee, and come back next time for some more DIYs and home-related videos. Bye!